Hi guys, I hope everybody is well and good. So this is a brand new fresh video that I wanted to make on a very interesting topic. I get this question asked to me a lot of times on LinkedIn when people connect with me. They are confused between which country to choose to go for their masters, right? There are different options nowadays available to go to which country you can do masters from. And the question that I get most often is, so for example, I have done my masters from Ireland, right? So people ask me, is Ireland good? Then they give me other options like I am trying there, here, and all of this, right? But even the question that people ask is very simple, based on the fact that there is a lot of information available on the internet. They still tend to ask for my opinion on which country is the best for them to go for masters, right? Now the answer to this is not a straightforward answer. The problem with this question is that depending on a person's circumstances and situation, the answer can differ, right? And it's very easy nowadays to get misled on the various information sources that are available these days. So you have YouTube, you have Facebook, you have countries going for education fairs in India, and it's very easy to get misled and confused and not able to decide on where to go, and then you end up in a very bad situation in a country if it is not suited for you and you go there, and it's a bad thing to be in that situation, right? So I wanted to break down this question, this answer to this question on in various points that anybody should think before going for masters, right? I am not an education consultant, so I am not biased towards any country. I will give you logical things to think about so that you can make an informed decision, right? Now, the first thing to consider is your budget constraints. Now, this is very obvious. Now, you'll say that, okay, everybody knows this, but this is not a very obvious thing to a lot of people, right? So, budget constraints. So, for example, if you have a lot of money to throw in just masters, right? Anything between 35 lakhs till 1 crore of rupees, uh, according to the budget, you can go to US, you can go to Australia because the fees itself there is very high, right? And the masters is 2 years, so the cost of living is also very high, right? So people who can spare this amount of money in India, which a lot of people can't, but if people are very rich, they can go to US, they can go to Australia, they can go to maybe New Zealand, right? These three places they can go according to the budget, right? Now, second, people who do not want to spare a lot of money in this master's course and be on the safe side and spend somewhere between, in the fees, they want to spend somewhere between 7 lakhs, just 7 lakhs for fees and 7 to 8 lakhs in fees and, accommodation and all of that included. If they just want to be just below 20 lakhs doing their master's, just below 20 lakhs or below 15 lakh, they can choose Europe. So because Europe has mostly, a lot of European countries, the masters is of 1 year. So cost of living is saved for 1 year, and the education institutions are government institutions mostly, and even the private ones are not charging that much fees. And mostly they charge around from 8,000 euros, 7,000 euros per year till 12,000, 15,000. They can go till 20,000 euros as well, but it's affordable for everybody. On the money they have to spare, they can choose a college based on a country in Europe that can have less fees as well. I heard somewhere that Italy is almost education is free, and Germany also has colleges that has education free. I was in Ireland, so the cost of studying there was also very less. And it was below, everything was done below 20 lakhs, which is not the case for if you go to US or Australia, right? Or any other bigger country. Now, this is according to the budget, right? Now, the second thing you should always consider is the type of course you want to study. So, if you want to go for specialization courses, no, for example, I have done a master's in AI from Ireland, right? AI. It's a very specific course. It's very specialized, and it does not have general things that we already studied in bachelor's. It's very specific, right? So according to my experience, I have seen that the courses and the people I talk to, the courses in Europe, are quite focused, and it's of shorter duration with more impact, right? More impact, more assessments, more technical stuff, which is not the case in the US, in US or Australia. So they have 2 years masters. In 1 year, they teach general stuff that you already studied in bachelor's, and the second year it's a specialization, but not at par with Europe. This is a known fact. Anybody who has studied in Europe, they can tell you that more focused courses are available in Europe. But still, it's not a rule. There can be colleges in Europe where the course is not that good, or there could be colleges in the US where the courses are quite focused, right? But because of the fact that in a lot of European colleges the course is of 1 year, so they keep it compact and very skill focused, coding intensive, and it's very difficult to pass them as well. So if you get anything between 60% to 70%, it's very good in Europe. People get below 60 as well, a lot of people. So it's very good according to colleges in Europe, because the courses are so tough that it's difficult to pass as well in a lot of colleges. So that is the thing. Now, this was according to the if you're considering which type of course to do, you can choose based on this Europe or maybe US or Australia, right? Based on what type of course you want to do. The third and the most important thing, the there are different countries in Europe as well, right? So we'll stick to Europe as an example now. So there are a lot of small countries, big countries, Eastern European countries, Nordic countries, and UK, and all of these countries are there who will give you admission in their colleges, and they'll come for education fairs in India, right? Now the only problem is there are a lot of countries, and how do you choose where to go? You can apply in a lot of countries, you will get an admit in a lot of countries, and the requirements are quite low in Europe. So the IELTS requirement is the IELTS for English. There's an exam called IELTS which you need to qualify. In Europe it's so, I mean, the qualification, you can, there are universities that you can get an admission with just 5.5 IELTS band. There is no GRE requirement in any European college, in most of them which I have seen. You just have to give an IELTS exam. You should have some decent marks in your bachelor's, and you'll get an admission. It's not very tough. Whereas in the US, you need to give GRE, which is additional exam. Then you have to give a TOEFL exam for English. So that the requirements are also very tough, and the fees is also very high. Whereas it's very easy to get admission in colleges in Europe. Now, the problem with Europe is that there are different countries of different sizes and different immigration rules in Europe, right? So, how do you end up choosing which country to go to? Now, that is the main question that I wanted to come, because people who message me are usually confused between different European countries, right? Now, I'll tell you from experience, right? A lot of countries that come for education fairs in India, they are just not bothered about you. They are just bothered about selling their courses, right? So I'm not saying that that is bad. It is very good. They oversell their courses. They tell that this is good, that is good. But the thing they don't tell you is what do you do after the course, right? So you tend to overlook that. The problem with this is you'll get an admission in any college in Europe, right? So for example, UK. You can take an example of UK. You find the cheapest college in UK to go to, because college rankings do not matter in Europe. One thing to make it very clear, in India and US, the college rankings matter, right? But in Europe, college rankings do not matter. It's just a matter of the thing that your course should be good. You should have knowledge, right? There is no competition between rankings of the college. You can take admission in the last ranked college in any country, then also you will get the same job at par with the top ranked college in any European country. That I've seen myself, right? So there is no problem with the ranking, right? Now you tend to take, for example, a course in one of the cheapest universities in maybe UK, right? For example. But the problem is that what they don't tell is the immigration policies and the stay back period after your master's. Now I know that they have given a 2 year stay back period after masters, and just like Ireland has also given. Now the problem is, even if the immigration policy of that country is very good, are the employ you need to ask this question to yourself. You should search that on the internet. Now I'll tell you how to do that in the genuine way. What they don't tell you is they put on newspapers and advertisements that there is a 2 year stay back period, there is 1 year stay back period, there's 9 months stay back. The problem is not with the stay back period. The problem is, are the employers in that country willing to sponsor visas for you to get a job after masters? If that is not the case, then your whole money, your time, your effort, everything is wasted because you do a course, even if it is less than 20 lakhs, maybe you spent 15 lakhs, or you stayed very, in a tight budget, and you did your masters in 14 lakhs. Now the problem is, if you don't fetch a job after doing your masters, then all of it is a waste, right? So how do you know if a country's college is telling you that you can do this course and you can stay for this? This is the new visa policy, immigration policy. How do you know that it's actually the truth? What's the actual truth about the thing, right? You can have a stay back for 10 years, right? But if the employer is not willing to sponsor visa, what will you do there, right? Now, how to go about selecting a country based on all these factors? First is the money, right? How much money you want to pay. So based on that, you first choose a country in Europe to study, right? First part. The second thing is, you maybe got down to three countries that was suiting your budget to do masters, right? It could be any three countries. We'll take an example, maybe Estonia, Malta, or the third could be UK, right? Three countries. UK is after Brexit, it's different, but still we can consider it as an example. So UK, Malta, and Estonia. You took three countries. You saw colleges where the course that you wanted to study was there, right? Now what you have to do is, you have to go on LinkedIn and first search for jobs in your sector in that country. So for example, if you see a lot of tech jobs, for example, you are aiming on a data science degree, right? So you check how many companies even have jobs in that data science field in those countries. So first you go for Estonia, you check that, then you go for UK, and then you go for Malta, right? All three countries. Now you found that there are tech jobs, right? If there are no tech jobs, immediately drop the plan. If so, for example, if a country does not have any tech jobs in data science and still you go to master's for data science in that country, it's a complete waste. So first criteria to eliminate is checking jobs if they're available in that country or not based on your master's field, right? So luckily, for example, in these three countries, there are tech jobs, right? Now, what is the outlook of employers on employing foreigners, specifically non-Europeans, on visa sponsorship? Because in all of these countries, you will need a visa sponsorship by the employer, right? So how do you get the genuine truth of the willingness of employers, right? So what you do is, you go on LinkedIn again, connect with people, Indians more specifically, because they are coming from the same background, so they will know a lot of things like this. So connect with people on LinkedIn who did their masters there, or they directly came on a visa sponsorship to work there, right? Ask them that, do employers want to sponsor visas? If And don't do it with one person, do it with 10, 15 people, right? And if they say, yeah, it's very easy to get a visa sponsorship, even on a work permit, it's very easy. You can directly come to work in this country, right? But I am assuming that you want to do masters as well. So if people say that it's very easy to get a visa sponsorship, easy to get a job, just blindly go to their country, do masters, get a job. You will be fine. But even if you see a lot of companies having jobs, so for example, we take an example of Estonia, right? You see a lot of tech jobs. You ask people that, are the employers going to sponsor visa? They say, people say yes. Then you can just go there, study, get a job. Your life is settled. But take an example of UK, right? I know by experience that UK does employers do not want to sponsor visas. They only want to sponsor visas for people having 10 years, 12 years, 15 years experience, and it's no chance for any master's graduate to get a job in tech there. It's very difficult. People make videos all the time on this, but from my personal experience, it's very difficult. If you are in a very niche field and it's a very, you're the best candidate, I think they'll do it, but it's very difficult. So you go and connect with people on UK. They'll tell you the truth that it's very difficult to get a visa sponsorship. Then drop that country, right? Now you came down to one country that has a less master's cost, based on the cost that we came with. I mean, we were discussing. Then you, in the same country, you have more tech job. And the third thing was that you connected with people and they said it's easy to get sponsorship. So this is the exact formula to get to decide on which country you want to go to do your masters in Europe. Now, I'll tell you my specific example. I went to Ireland without consulting people, right? I just took admission because the fees was less, and the admission criteria was very simple, and they were selling AI courses, and I was very interested with that. But I didn't. What the mistake I did was, and a lot of people did that, was not to ask people there that how is the outlook towards non-Europeans from the company's perspective on sponsoring visas. So apparently, I got to know this after struggling and coming back to India and then coming back to Malta for work. I realized that like they do not want to sponsor visas. Now there is fake information on the all of internet that Ireland gives this that it's not true. Same with UK and a lot of countries that are going to sell you lies on the visa part. So the visa part is fine, like that is the country's policy, that is good. But the employers do not want to sponsor visa. What will the country do, right? So that is the problem. So these few things you need to keep in mind on deciding which country to go for masters. I've broken down this into a very simple conversation to have. I think it is very logical from my experience, what I have seen, and this will help you a lot. So I just talked about Europe because I have experience in Europe. People might have different opinions about US, Australia, all of that. You can ask to those people who have studied there, right? So I think this will be a very informative video for people who want to do masters but are always confused on which country to pick in Europe, right? I am not saying that I am 100% correct. Tomorrow you might find a country that nobody goes for masters for example, Slovakia, right? It's a country that nobody goes for masters from India. A lot of people do not go. You might find that there are tech jobs, but people do not know about them. The course is fees is very less, and people are going easy to get a visa sponsorship there, right? You can go there. Do not be afraid of going to a country that is less known, because in a less known country, the competition will be less. You'll easily able to get jobs as a non-European, because if there are less non-Europeans, it's very easy to get a job. If the visa sponsorship is easy, you'll get a job. But if you're going to a very crowded country where everybody is going, so for example, US, all the Indians are going there, then half of your chance is gone there only of getting a job. Second is the visa immigration policies, and then the third is the cost of the course, right? So try to go to smaller countries where nobody goes. Ask with few Indians that have gone there previously, how was their experience. And from my experience, a lot of people came to Malta a lot years back, and they're very happy. I think I should have also researched about this small country and come here. So there are different countries like these in Europe, maybe Estonia, Malta, Poland, Latvia, Lithuania. Go to the offbeat places where there are tech jobs and less competition. That is my, whole advice to anybody. So if you have any questions about the same, you can, comment on this video and let me know. And thank you guys. Have a good week and have a good month as well. Thank you. Bye.